All right, let's talk about 7 potential casualties to the Detroit Lions this offseason to clean up cap space. I'm reading from M Live, so shout out to M Live and its author, Kyle Manneke. Hopefully I'm saying that right. So he did this article at 9:59 a.m. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Go check out M Live as well too, man. And so I mean, some things can happen too to clear up more cap space. I had the list of cap space. I'll save it for a live stream or something like that. But it was a list of teams that had cap space. The Lions had a guesstimated $6+ million in cap space, and we know that the NFL, or if you may not know, the NFL may add an additional 17th game to bring in more, to give you a bigger cap. So a lot of teams in the negative too. So that's interesting too. But let's talk about it. Kind of read a little bit. The new regime first major decision was to trade starting quarterback Matthew Stafford to the LA Rams. That kicks off a rebuild with 2 first-round draft picks. We got a visitor. I got a visitor. 2 first-round draft picks, and I lost my space. Plus a 3rd rounder this year in an excellent haul. But the Lions also will add $14 million in dead money to their cap. Plus, had to take Jared Goff's contract completely to complete the deal. Goff will count over $28 million against the cap. This year, the Lions also have been making decisions whether to re-sign star receiver Kenny Galladay and top pass rusher Romeo Okwara, neither to whom will come cheaply. They could use the franchise tag, although that will be even expensive in the near term. All of this coming this year. I don't know why you like the buttons. With the salary cap is expected to shrink because of financial ramifications of the pandemic, no having no gate. So they have no gate. The Lions, like many teams, find themselves in a position where they have to release some players in cost saving measures. Here's a look of 7 candidates in Detroit ranked in terms of potential cap saving. So let's get to it. And also, Kenny Galladay has signed the franchise tag for the same amount of money the Lions was offering him, reportedly of like $16 million. So Desmond Trufant is scheduled to make 9.5 base salary this season and would count 12.2 against the cap, which is a lot of money for a guy who played more than 90%. Hold on. Who played more than 90% of snaps just twice a season ago. Trufant was signed. So basically, besides $12 million was Trufant. So, and he didn't play. And when he played, he didn't play well at all, other than the first game. So, with 6.2 in potential savings moving on, I think he might be done. Or some team might get an injury in camp and might call him. So, that could happen. Justin Coleman, another high-priced corner who just haven't lived up to the contract. Coleman made the highest priced nickel back in the league. I don't know, they just didn't say slot. But he's allowed a quarterback rating of 138 while lined up in the slot last season. This won't surprise you, the very worst in the league. He ranked 111th amongst cornerbacks overall per Pro Football Focus. Just not what you expect from the kind of contract. The Lions would save $4.9 million by moving on. So I mean, the cost is coming. So they could save $6. Well, they could save about $11 million, over $11 million, or about $11 million by cutting 2 cornerbacks. And don't forget, you got Mike Ford, who's pretty good. So you got to back up Mike Ford. You got 2 stars of core and Aurier. So at this point, it's just determining, will Aurier go into the slot? Can Okudah go into the slot? Can Mike Ford play the slot? Do we have to draft a nickel back? So, which shouldn't be expensive. We're going to be finding on the streets. But defensive tackle Nick Williams, who signed a 2-year, $10 million contract to help anchor Detroit defensive front last offseason. Then Detroit had one of the worst defensive fronts in the league, and especially on the interior. Of course, the scheme did no one any favors either. It's difficult to project with pieces that new regime will find worth salvaging. Detroit would save 4.7 by cutting Williams. So, a lot of people didn't know that Nick Williams wasn't a pass rusher. He wasn't. Nick Williams is the guy that's going to help stop the run. He had an anomaly of like 6 or 7 sacks coming from Chicago. He could find himself back to Chicago, but waste of money once again. So 3 So they can say, what I say, 5. So they about at $16 million in saving. And I think they can open up almost $40 million in cap space at 37 point something by cutting these guys. So Trufant, Coleman, I was against all 3 of these dudes coming to Detroit, by the way. Then Danny Sheldon. And then you have some YouTubers. That was just, Lions can sign shitty big shit. They can sign Mason. They can sign Mason as cornerback. And they'd be like, well, Mason, he showed a great agility, out there on the playground, juking kids, juking other dogs, and I think he's gonna be a great nickel cornerback for the Lions. And he do juke kids. He juke other dogs too. So Danny Sheldon, we had him signed a 2-year. Got my little PJs on. Still gotta go out there, man. Woo, it's cold out there. Signed a 2-year, $8 million contract to become Detroit Lions interior run stuffer last season. Sheldon struggled in the role, finished with just 37 tackles all season, and about a half what he had in the final year for New England. Detroit Lions run defense fell from the bottom 5 in the league. $4 million saving cut him, so we had about $20 million in saving already. Okay. Christian Jones, which I was against Danny Sheldon. I wasn't against Danny Sheldon. People saying, well, Danny Sheldon's going to resurrect his career and be a star. No. Christian Jones. And then you notice a lot of these dudes that came from New England or had New England ties didn't even do well in this scheme. Christian Jones never been a star. According to stats, traditional and otherwise, has never been all that good. Neither he had 57 tackles last season, no sacks, no interceptions, no fumble force, just 1 fumble recovery. He just didn't do very much. He also missed 8 games. Also missed, 8 tackles. The Lions linebackers were bad across the board and probably headed for a more serious makeover 2021. The Lions will save 3.6. So what I said, we about 20. So we had almost at $23 million in cap space, or slightly over. And my thing is this: if you don't have a good defensive line, or the linebackers are going to suffer, and the back end is going to suffer. If you don't have, get pressure, but then we go to the obvious, Chase Daniels. I was against that too. After years of neglecting the quarterback, which is Bob Cousins' solution was to throw 3 years at over $13 million at a career backup last offseason. It didn't go very well. Daniels' most extensive action came in Week 16 against Tampa when Matthew Stafford went down with the ankle injury in the first series of the game. Daniels did so much across the midfield, didn't do so much across the middle of the field before getting benched in the fourth quarter. He finished the season 29-43 for 264 and 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. The passer rating is just 72.2. Now the Lions have $14 million in dead money to account for in Stafford, plus another over $28 million for a new quarterback in Jared Goff. That's over $42 million worth of quarterbacks. Okay, and that doesn't account for the potential quarterback taken in the draft. Chase Daniels is currently scheduled to account for $5.3 million against the cap. Although Detroit could say 2.3 by moving on, so we had 25, and then another obvious guy, he won't count for much. Tight end Jesse James. There may not be a worse free agent signing by Bob Quinn, who handed James a 4-year contract for $22.6 in 2019. That's top 20 money for a tight end. James caught 16 passes for 142, his worst season since his rookie year. The Lions talked James about what he could do to work on to be more involved in 2021, but was even less involved. 14 catches, 129. Of course, tight ends don't do a lot more than catch footballs, but James' blocking was ordinary on a good day. James still has $4.3 million in dead money left on his contract, but $2.1 million in potential saving. So we about 28. And so then you got around seven accounted for. So you're about $36 million, give or take. Like I said, they can do without all these guys. All of them is free agents, obviously. Jesse James, Chase Daniels, Christian Jones, Danny Sheldon, Nick Sheldon, Justin Coleman, Desmond Trufant, all garbage. And there's other guys they can cut too, so don't be surprised. And then you talk about the tight end position for a minute, man. The Lions sucked under the tight end position under Matthew Stafford, so I wasn't too surprised. Let me know what you guys think. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, query, sponsorship, video request. All my social media links in the description. Want to make a financial donation? Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link in the description. Appreciate the love, support. Best way to donate, share video. He looking at me like I'm crazy. It was his birthday Sunday, so he balled out. So peace from me and Mason.